Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I did want to go ahead and start making my commentary slash reaction videos. These videos are primarily chosen based on the topic that I find interesting. Not only that, some of these channels that I am showing you have brought out good content. So, obviously I want to bring that forward in case you haven't familiarized yourself with the channel, and kind of give my take on it. I won't just focus on this. I'll also be making my other videos. If you've seen the channel beforehand, you know that I make a lot of how-to videos, fix issue with gaming and PCs and whatnot, which unfortunately run into a lot. But yeah, I've always wanted to make these type of videos. I'll try not to pause the video, that way it flows. But if there's any concerns, any tips, let me know. Any videos you'd like for me to check out as well, let me know. So let's go ahead and get started.
From animal abuse to child pornography to straight-up murder, in this video, we are looking at 20 actors currently rotting in jail and the reasons why. Stick around because you might find some of your childhood favorites here. Number 20. Shannon Richardson. In 2014, Shannon Richardson, the actress from The Vampire Diaries, was convicted in one of the most bizarre cases ever. The Texas actress shocked the global community when she confessed to sending ricin-laced letters to President Barack Obama. 3 letters containing the
Oh,
toxic
damn.
compound were mailed from Shreveport, Louisiana in May 2013. According to investigations, the ricin was derived from castor beans, and records showed that
Mm.
Richardson had bought castor beans along with lye, another component of the poisonous substance, not too long ago. Once the truth came to light, Shannon tried to put the blame on her husband, but the courts were not swayed. With the
Damn, that's
reality of a
savage.
lifetime in prison becoming more real for her, Shannon was left with no choice but to take the plea deal.
He came
This
out in
way, she only ended up with
The Walking
18
Dead.
years in prison.
Was she
She
the
was also
mom?
ordered by the court to pay $367,000 in restitution. Number 19,
I don't think she was the
Ryan
mom
Grantham.
of the
In 2022,
son, right? The
Ryan
main cast.
Grantham
I
went from
remember this
sweet
kid.
kid from Diary of a Wimpy Kid to a
Mm-hmm.
cold-blooded killer. The Riverdale star was sentenced to life in prison for shooting his mother in their Canada home.
Damn.
Grantham's mom, Barbara White, was playing the piano unsuspectingly when the then 21-year-old shot her in the back of the head with a handgun. Fortunately, authorities did not have to spend resources to hunt down the killer, as
Reminds me of
Ryan
the Menendez
conveniently turned
brother.
himself in.
I
Not
think that's what
only
she
did he
was doing as
confess to
well.
the crime, but he also admitted to making plans to assassinate Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and shooting up a school. However, Ryan was put behind bars before he could
Jesus.
carry out his nefarious actions. He has been sentenced to a lifetime in prison. His lawyers
Oh yeah,
campaigned for a more
murder.
lenient sentence, but Judge Kathleen Kerr only agreed to
I
letting
wonder what
Ryan
his
apply
issue
for
was
parole
though.
after he had served 14 years in prison. Rest assured, that day is a long time away. Number 18, Zachary Horwitz. Zachary
Mental health
Horwitz,
issue or
the
something.
producer of Minamata, was convicted in
Yeah.
October 2021 for wire fraud. For years, the Trespassers actor worked as a lead man for a Ponzi scheme. Zachary and his colleagues lured investors under the guise of using their invested money to
To
acquire licensing
invest.
rights to films that HBO and Netflix had reportedly agreed to distribute abroad. However, what investors failed to realize is that these agreements were completely fabricated. The Ponzi scheme
Yeah,
proved
I
to
was
be a
gonna say
lucrative
Ponzi
effort,
scheme.
one that raised a jaw-dropping $650 million.
That's
But when the
insane.
truth came to light, Zach was put behind bars for defrauding investors for more than $200 million. United States District Judge Mark C. Scarcy also ordered Zachary to pay around $230 million in restitution to the people he stole from. Number 17,
You
Michael Jace.
basically get
Many
money from
people know
investors
Michael
to pay other
Jace as the
investors
Los
and you just
Angeles
keep it
police
going,
officer
but you
Julian
pocket
Lowe
some of
from
them.
the FX drama The Shield. However, others know him as the man who shot his wife. Back in 2014, the actor rang up the police saying that he had fatally shot his wife. According to reports, Michael shot his wife April Jace after she revealed her plans about wanting a divorce. Upset by her decision to leave, Michael pulled a gun on April with the intention to hurt her. However, he ended up shooting her 2 times in her legs, while his 2 sons, aged 8 and 5 at the time, watched in horror.
Be
Jace
that
was tried
angry,
for
not be able
second-degree
to
murder at
restrain
trial,
yourself
where his son ended up testifying
in
against
front
him.
of your kids.
Despite the mounting evidence, Jace pleaded not guilty, but in 2016, the jury announced their verdict, and Michael was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Fans of the actor were shocked by the incident since Michael had always played the good guy in movies and TV shows. However, friends close to the couple reported that Michael had, in fact, a long history of domestic violence.
There you go.
Fortunately, Michael is spending his days in a jail cell where he can't hurt
I was
anyone
gonna
anymore.
say there was either a
Number
history or it
16,
was just like
Will Hayden.
being red
In
type of
2017,
moment.
Will Hayden, the former Sons of Guns reality TV star, was put behind bars for the sexual assault of two girls in Louisiana. Allegations against the actor first came to light in 2014, which was soon followed by an arrest. The first person to come forward accused Will of engaging in a non-consensual relationship with a minor for years on end. While Will first denied the accusation,
Like a
his house
fan
of lies
or
came tumbling
forcing her.
down when his own daughter came forward with the same
Oh,
allegations. He was initially charged with juvenile molestation, rape, and crimes against nature. His case went to court, where two 15-year-old and 37-year-old victims testified against him. Will pleaded not guilty to the charges, however there was no escaping his fate, given the compelling evidence stacked against him. The judge ended up serving him with 2 mandatory sentences of life in prison. Fortunately, Hayden will never see the light of the day since he is not eligible for parole. Number 15.
not shitty. Oh, Allison Mack, I've heard of
For
this.
years, Allison Mack had presented herself as the ultimate advocate for female
Famous
empowerment.
from
On
Smallville.
top of acting, she ran a multi-marketing firm, Aries. However, the real purpose of the company was to recruit females for their group DOS, which stood for Dominus Obsequious Sororium. For
Bro,
years, the group operated in the shadows
come
with
up with an
Allison doing much of
easier
the
name.
dirty work. However, in 2018, the FBI busted the Smallville actress on charges of sex trafficking and forced labor conspiracy. Investigations revealed that the organization recruited women to their female-only group, where they were branded with Keith Rainier, the founder of Annexivam, and Mac's
Of
initials,
course.
and were coerced to perform compromising acts like taking nude pictures. Upon her arrest, Mac quickly pleaded guilty to racketeering and racketeering conspiracy. She worked with authorities and provided valuable information that led to the arrest of prominent ringleaders. Raniere ended up receiving 120 years in prison, while Mac got off on a much lighter sentence, a prison time of 3 years, given her invaluable cooperation in
That's
2021. However, the actress was released from
insane.
prison in July
3 years.
2023. Number 14, Drew Drexel. Drew
I mean,
Drexel went from the heights of fame as the star.
let me pause it there. You with these type of cases, obviously she might have been a victim. She might have been aware what she was doing. But I think that with the fact that she helped, that really helped her case. Either way, I don't know. I feel like personally these have to be used as like lessons, right? That even if you're in that situation, what you're doing can be undone. So she should have served way more.
Of the American Ninja Warrior to a convicted felon in no time. His time in the spotlight came to an end in August 2020, when an FBI investigation discovered that Drew traveled to New Jersey with the intention of having sex with a minor. He also coerced a minor to travel to Connecticut, forcing them to
You'd be
perform
surprised how many of
non-consensual
those are
sexual
around,
favors.
even in your
Drew
neighborhood.
ended up being charged with manufacture of child pornography, enticement of a minor to travel for illicit sexual conduct, use of interstate commerce to entice a minor, and travel with the intent to engage in illicit sexual conduct with a minor. With Drew's lewd activities making headlines, it didn't take long for American Ninja Warrior to sever ties with him completely. The show didn't hesitate to edit out the former TV personality from older seasons. Drew has since then pleaded guilty to the charges and is waiting out his days in a prison cell until his criminal trial. Number 13, Kalen Walker. Kalen Walker promised immense potential after his performance in the 28 female of the 70s film Superfly. He also starred in the
I haven't seen a
207
lot of
drama
these
Kings alongside Halle Berry
shows or
and Daniel
movies.
Craig. However, Hollywood closed its doors on him when he was revealed as a sex offender. The actor
See
was
what I mean?
arrested in
Another one.
September 2018 after 4 models came forward. According to the victims' accounts, Kalen reached out to the women under the guise of work, only to sexually exploit them. Unfortunately, Kalen walked after posting bail of $1 million. However, Walker was rearrested in March 2019 after more victims came forward, with incriminating evidence. The actor was then taken to trial, where he was found guilty on 9 counts of felony charges and was sentenced to 50 years in prison.
9
He was
felony.
also ordered by Superior Court Judge Joseph Brandolino to register himself as a sex offender. making sure he could never hurt someone like
You
this
want to know
again.
more about
Number
those?
12.
There's
Joe
websites
Exotic.
that
Joe Exotic
will show
emerged
you a
on the
map of
global
those around
scene
you.
after
They
the
have to
release of the
register.
2020 Netflix docuseries,
And then yeah,
Tiger
we've
King.
all seen this,
He
right?
was recognized worldwide for looking after exotic big cats at the GW Zoo, Wynnewood, Oklahoma.
This guy was crazy
However,
but
Joe's
funny.
2 minutes of fame came to an abrupt end in September 2018 when the former Netflix star was arrested. According to law enforcement, Joe had attempted to hire 2 hitmen for the purpose of murdering fellow animal rights activist Carol Baskin, had made an enemy out of Joe after he accused him of animal abuse. Investigations revealed that the American media personality had reached out to an undercover FBI agent in December 2017 to do his bidding with the promise of $10,000.
Didn't they let him go
Carol
out
added
early
more to
because
the
of
pile
COVID?
by accusing Joe of killing and feeding her ex-husband Don Lewis to his tigers. In the end, Baskin was convicted for his crimes in 2019, receiving 22 years in prison. He was found guilty on 2 counts of attempted murder for hire and 17 federal charges of animal abuse. Investigations revealed that Joe was responsible for killing 5 tigers and falsifying zoo records as well. However, much to Carol's disappointment, Baskin was not convicted for her husband's disappearance. He did have his sentence reduced by 1 year in January 2022, meaning he will now be serving 21 years in prison as opposed to the 22 in the beginning. Number 11. Skylar DeLeon.
Oh, him too?
Skylar DeLeon had been a part of many people's childhoods, given his
No
part in the Power
way.
Rangers. However, when acting did not turn out for him, the actor decided to turn to a life of crime. Skylar was responsible for the murder
Didn't
of
work out for
Thomas and
him.
Jackie Hawks from Prescott,
It's the
Arizona
main
in
Power Ranger.
2004. The couple was only looking to sell their beloved, well-deserved boat when they mysteriously ended up missing. It turned out that Skylar and his wife, Jennifer DeLeon, had decided to steal the boat for themselves. Unfortunately, during the robbery, things took a turn for the worse for the Hawks, who were tied up and thrown into the sea by their assailants,
I don't know
never to
how
be
they were
found
gonna
again.
get
For
away with
years,
selling it or
Skylar
whatnot.
managed to evade
Like a
authorities.
vehicle's
But then
registered.
one of his accomplices confessed everything to the police, which ultimately led to his arrest. Given the severity of his actions, the judge also gave Skylar the death penalty in 2009. However, the punishment was never carried out since Skylar was located in California, one of the states where the penalty was blocked. What's
Mm.
more, Skylar has undergone hormone replacement therapy since 2009
What?
to transition from male to female. She now goes by the name Skylar Preciosa. Number 10. Zara Fithian.
Wow, there's so
Zara
much going
Fithian
on.
was a Marvel actress who managed to make a name for herself in the franchise after starring in Doctor Strange.
See what I mean
However,
about interesting
it didn't take
videos?
long for her to lose the spotlight. In 2022, the actress was charged for sexually abusing a 13-year-old. As per reports, the abuse went on for 3 years. Zara forced the victim to drink alcohol despite her being underage and forced her to perform lewd acts later on. Zara's husband, Mark, was also involved in the abuse, which went on behind closed doors for years until the victim decided to come forward. Zara and her husband were quickly put on trial, which ended with Zara being found guilty on 14 counts of sexual activity. Meanwhile, her husband was found guilty of indecent assault on a second girl. Zara is living out her 8-year sentence within the walls of Foston Hall Prison in Derbyshire. She has since then taken up an industrial cleaning course, hoping to find a new income source now that her
What they
acting
say,
career is over.
actors
Meanwhile, her
typically never
husband
have
Mark
a
is serving
firm and
14 years in prison. During
ongoing
the trial, the judge concluded
income.
that Zara's deviance was shaped by the influence Mark had on her from an early age. Zara's father,
Unfortunately,
who
many
regularly
don't
visits
have
his daughter in jail,
regular
also
skills
strongly
to like
believes
just
that
get a
Zara was
different
groomed
job
by
instead
her
of
husband.
breaking the
According
law.
to him, Fithian is also looking to complete a sports science degree during her time in prison. Number 9. Amy Locane. Amy
I don't
Locane,
remember her.
crybaby star, was the sweetheart from the 90s, but she is no longer stealing hearts on the screen. Instead, she's behind bars for aggravated manslaughter, all because of one fateful night in June 2010. The actress was driving home after a night of late drinking at a barbecue party. She was going 53 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone and ultimately crashed into the car of an unsuspecting Fred Seaman as he turned up in his driveway. While Fred was lucky enough
In
to
his
survive the
driveway.
crash, his 60-year-old wife, Helene, did not share his luck. She was killed on the spot. Soon, authorities arrived on the scene. They tested the actress's blood alcohol levels and found them 3 times the drink drive limit. She was taken to trial where a jury sentenced her to 3 years in prison, a
3?
lenient sentence despite the fact that
So
she had
you
taken
know.
a life.
So
However, much
connections,
to the
for real.
seaman's relief, the case was
Mm-hmm.
reopened, leaving Locane with a 5-year prison sentence in 2019.
5
Amy
years.
managed to avoid the inside of a jail cell pending a further appeal, but the appeal landed her in more trouble as she received 8 years for second-degree vehicular homicide. Locane still has a year to go before she is eligible for parole. Number 8. Jared
Oh,
Fogle.
everybody heard
For
of this
15
guy.
years, Jared Fogle had managed to win
He had
hearts
everything and he
everywhere. The
still went that
beloved
route.
fast
I
food
mean, he looks like
spokesperson for
one.
the people. His
Sorry if
incredible
you look
story
like
about
that,
losing
but
250
he
pounds by
gives off
eating
that impression.
Subways inspired many. Jared soon found himself on the screen in Sharknado 2 in a South Park episode all about him. However, in 2015, Jared found public opinion turned against him. The truth about Fogle started unraveling when a local Florida radio show host, Herman, hosted Jared, only to report that he had hinted at liking middle school girls. As a mother of 2, Herman decided to follow her instincts and took on the task of exposing Jared. She began recording their conversations where Jared asked her if he could see her kids naked. However, since the recordings were taken without permission, they were inadmissible in court. But Herman did not give up. Instead, she started working as an
That's
informant.
crazy to me.
Jared was eventually
Do you
put
just
behind
ignore it?
bars when the FBI arrested Russell
Or
Taylor.
do you say, hey,
The
now we
authorities found a concerning
can
amount
put
of
more
child
eyes on him
pornography
since we
on his
did hear
computer.
that?
The data included some material sent from Jared as well, which provided enough grounds for the authorities to make an arrest in July of the same year. At trial, Jared was looking at 50 years in prison, but he ended up taking a plea deal which reduced his prison sentence to 15 years. Number 7, Harvey
15
Weinstein.
years,
Harvey
that's it.
Weinstein, the producer of movies like Pulp Fiction, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, was one of the biggest names in the industry back in the day. However,
I think we all
it
heard
all
of him
came
as
tumbling
well.
down in 2017 as the New York Times and New York Post exposed the dark side of the film mogul. Several victims came forward revealing all about how the ex-director had abused his power for sexual favors. Apparently, Harvey had managed to use his influence to keep his victims silent for years. But with an increasing number of confessions by several women, the New York and Los Angeles authorities were forced to open investigations into the matter. Harvey's first trial began in Manhattan in January 2020, and by the end of the following month, the disgraced director had been found guilty on accounts of third-degree rape and first-degree criminal sexual
There was
acts,
so
2 of
many.
the original 5 charges. Harvey was later
There was
sentenced
way
to
more.
23 years in
Way,
prison,
way more.
but Harvey's story is far from over. He was recently tried at a court in Los Angeles where he was given an additional 16
All
years
this
in
could be
prison,
avoided
leaving
too if
Harvey begging for mercy.
only people wearing
Weinstein's
that,
arrest proved to be
you
a
know,
monumental arrest in the hashtag #MeToo movement, which also revealed the
excited.
truth about other high-profile actors and directors in the industry. Number 6. Todd and Julie
I
Chrisley.
think I briefly saw
Todd
these
and
two.
Julie Chrisley managed to find
Like
a
Little
global
Wayne says, as
audience for
soon
the
as
debut of their reality
I
TV
come
show,
to my
Chrisley
senses.
Knows Best, in 2014. The show followed the everyday life
Fortunately, a
of the
lot of these
Chrisleys
people
and their
aren't.
children. The family lived comfortably thanks to Todd's unbelievable success as an entrepreneur and real estate developer. However, all that glitters is never gold, and the same goes for the Chrisleys. The couple was implicated in conspiracy, bank fraud, tax evasion, and wire fraud. The charges came forward on August 12, 2019. The two were promptly taken to trial afterwards, which concluded on June 7, 2022. Much to the disappointment of the Chrisleys, they were found guilty on all accounts. Todd is currently serving a 12-year sentence at FPC Pensacola, while Julie is counting the days at FMC
I was gonna
Lexington,
say, are
Kentucky,
they really a
where she will
couple?
stay for the duration of her 7-year sentence. However, fate favored the Chrisleys in
Pretty good at reading
2023
people.
when the court agreed to shorten their prison sentences. Todd is now expected to walk free in 2033, while Julie will walk free in 2028. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. One of our subscribers shared an image with us that has left him and his friends wondering and puzzled. They were browsing the internet like always when they came across this image. All these friends know is that all of the people in this picture are actors who are rotting in a jail cell at the moment. The first guy is in for 40 years while the kid is in for 70 years. But what about the woman? How long do you think she's in for? She has the eyes of a
Did
killer,
we see her?
that's for sure. Unfortunately, the kids didn't find
5
more
years?
information, but that's where you come in. Can you
Oh,
help us solve this mystery? What could this woman have possibly done? Did she really kill
I
someone,
can
or
read
was
the
it something
comments and
more
see if somebody
mundane
figured it
like
out,
tax
but
fraud? And what about
I
the
won't.
kid? What did he do
I'll
to earn
let
70
you
years in
post in
prison?
the comment
The answers
section.
await. Remember to comment down below
And I
with
mean,
the
I'm gonna put the
hashtag
original link for the video,
subscriberpic
so you can probably
and
go
let us
to
know
the
what you
video
think.
and
Now,
copy
on
it
to the
in the
next topic.
comments either way.
Number 5. Joseph's son. Joseph's
I
son,
remember this guy.
Austin Powers,
Yeah,
international man of mystery, actor's run-ins with the law, started in May of 2008 after he was sentenced to 60 days of jail time for felony vandalism. However, the second part of the sentence required him to submit his DNA to the authorities, which turned out to be the actor's undoing. The authorities performed a routine scan of Joe's DNA, running it against other samples in the database, and much to their surprise, Joe's DNA was a perfect match for one of the assailants who had forced themselves on a woman in 1990. Although the case had long been buried, new evidence led to Joe's arrest in October of 2008. Joe was taken to trial where after his victim's testimony, he was looking at 275 years in prison. However, since the trial ran in 2011, 21 years after the incident, Son could
7-year
not be
limit.
tried because of the statute of limitations. However, the judge ended up giving him
I
life
should know
in
all this
prison
as a
for charges of torture.
doctorate
Unfortunately,
student.
prison did not help Joe turn over a new page as he ended up murdering his cellmate Michael Thomas Graham at Wasco State Prison in California, only a month into his sentence. While it's believed that Son only committed the act in self-defense, he will be serving time for 2 more decades on top of his initial sentence. Number 4.
All because of
Jen
vandalism.
Shah.
I don't
Over
know
the
her.
years, many actresses have starred in the popular The Real Housewives reality
I
series.
definitely don't
However,
know her then.
Jen Shah from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City holds a special place in fans' hearts, not because of her incredible acting skills, but because of the shady ways she amassed her wealth. For years, Jen had managed to evade the U.S. authorities, but her life of crime came to an end in 2021 when Shah and her assistant Stuart Smith were indicted by the U.S.
Always a
Attorney
good
for the
point for you
Southern
to
District
stop
of New York. Jen
with
and Stuart
Botox
have
and
been
stuff.
working together since 2012. Together, they
Some
two
people just get
operated a
addicted to it.
telemarketing business that specialized in selling products and services to elderly customers. However, the only problem was that these services did not exist. The pair formed an impeccable team and managed to defraud many customers until 2021 when the FBI came knocking. Both of them initially entered not guilty plea deals against counts of conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, the former of which was dropped. With no more options
They
left
might
to
have never
explore,
gotten caught, but I bet
Jen
she wanted to
decided
be
that
on
it's best
TV.
to agree to a plea deal, and so she did in 2022. She admitted to the charge of wire fraud and was given a 6.5-year prison sentence for her crimes. Number 3. Josh Duggar.
Looks
Josh
familiar.
Duggar had managed to gather quite the audience for himself by starring in TLC's 19 Kids and Counting. However, it didn't take long for fans to learn the truth.
On a quick note, I asked my grandparents how many kids they had, and I believe they also had 19. I mean, there was no TV back then. None of this was available, so
In
there
April
was nothing else to do,
2021,
I
the
guess.
former reality TV star was convicted
That's
of 1 count of
insane.
child pornography and 1 count of possession of
Two
child
people
pornography. Josh pleaded not guilty to both accounts
making 19
and was
kids
released
and
on
then
bail, only to be
multiplies,
convicted in
multiply.
December 2021 on one of the accounts. In May 2022, Josh was sentenced to 151 months in prison, which roughly amounts to 12.5 years in the slammer. While his defense team had argued for a more lenient sentence, saying that he had never once been charged before, the prosecution asked for the maximum sentence given the extraordinary efforts Josh took to obtain and view child sexual abuse materials and the nature of the content he obtained and viewed. Duggar will not be stepping out as a free man until October 10, 2032. Number 2. Stoney Westmoreland. Stoney Westmoreland,
Mm,
known for playing the beloved role of Andy Mack, is long past his Disney days. The former actor was
no, I
arrested in
haven't seen
Salt
them.
Lake City, Utah in December 2018. According to reports, Stoney was guilty of trying to lure a minor with the intention of having sex. He used interstate workings to transmit
There's such a
compromising
huge trend of
information about a
this.
minor. Authorities managed to lure Stoney with the fake profile of a 13-year-old boy on Grindr. According to detectives, Westmoreland booked a car to meet the teen with the intention of bringing him back to his hotel room. He had also shared lewd photos with the teen, asking him to do the same. However, at trial, Stoney's lawyers argued that their client believed he was talking to an adult.
Oh my
Unfortunately,
god.
that defense did not hold up.
Yeah, I'm
Given the
glad.
severity of his crimes, Stoney was looking at 10 years in prison. However, Stoney improved his chances and entered a plea deal. As part of the deal, Stoney was ordered to comply with random searches on his electronic devices on top of a reduced
I
sentence.
bet they found
The
more.
former star is also completely banned from interacting with anyone under 18 without adult supervision. Additionally, Stoney was fired from Disney TV soon after the allegations surfaced. Number 1. Danny
And then,
Masterson.
of course,
Danny
I
Masterson
made
is the
a
latest of the
video on
actors who
this
ended
too
up.
if you want to check that out.
That 70s show former star was sentenced to 30 years in prison for the sexual assault of 2 women. A total of 4 women came forward accusing Danny of sexually assaulting them during the 2001 to 2003 time period in 2017. Apparently, the actor had drugged them before the assault. The testimonies of the victims led to an investigation, and it was not long before the consequences of Danny's actions came knocking. Netflix and the United
Mm-mm-mm.
Talented Agency, both of which were working with Danny at the time, responded to the allegations by letting him go. As fans rallied for the actor to be put behind bars, Danny was offered protection by the Church of Scientology. Members
Oh,
of the church harassed the 4 women who came
strong
forward,
backing.
taking their pictures and breaking the windows of their houses. However, the legal
It's crazy. Don't
investigations
do that.
continued on. Masterson was tried in
They're
2022,
just like
only for the
us.
jury to not reach a
You don't
verdict.
need to worship them.
However, he was less lucky at his retrial in May 20.
They're just like us. You don't need to worship them. Do the right thing. Um, I like I mentioned, I have another video based on him. I think it's brief. You can go watch that. But yeah, some of these were very surprising. People that I hadn't seen in years, and out of nowhere they're doing, you know, all these awful things. But yeah, let me know what you think of the video. This is kind of the format that we'll do. Um, did you enjoy me just talking over the video, or did that kind of take away from the information of the video? What delivery would you prefer? There's different methods of doing it. I know as much, but just let me know. Obviously, I want to make the videos more consistent, better quality, and whatnot as we move on. But yeah, which one shocked you the most? Let me know, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.